Alright, so beginning of our little video series here on a little bit of bass playing. Sorry, I definitely should have set that before I started the video. Alright, I've tried to make this a bunch of times now. People keep interrupting, so if I'm rushing through something, I'm sorry. This is the beginning of our little video series, and we're just going to do short videos, hopefully, just to get you playing a little bit more at home. Right, so the first thing is definitely stretch, okay? Your fingers are controlled by tendons that are up in your wrists. Really, really pay attention to stretching them out. Before you play, after you play, make sure that you are really taking care of your body. If you hurt or something like that, please stop and take a break. Just rest. When your body's in pain, it's telling you something. It's telling you that we need to take a break. We need to stop. We need to rest. And I know that if you want to get better, that you want to keep practicing, but just know that it takes time, and that you have your whole life to really get better. Music's a lifelong journey, right? That someone said that somewhere in some inspirational quote thing. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get to it. A lot of people are going to tell you about a four-finger pattern type thing, where you're playing like pinky ring. I'm not even plugged in. Where you're playing your pinky ring, middle, pointer, and then vice versa, and then the opposite way, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do this. So what that exercise I'm talking about is something that looks like this. Okay, and so on until you hit the bottom. I used to do this pretty extensively, actually, but then I thought, what's the point in doing that if you're never going to use that ever? Typically you're not going to play a song that does that. And if you're a bass player where you're just starting off, do you really want to, say you've been taking bass lessons for a couple weeks, and one of your friends is like, hey, show me some of the stuff that you learned, right? And you're like, well, I can play this. And I'm really good at it. They're going to be like, dude, that is cool, but also not cool at all, right? So, but what if a weekend you're like, hey, check it out, I can play... Right. Then it's like, hey, cool, we're getting our money's worth. Very nice. Alright, so I'm here to teach you stuff like that. So the first thing that we're going to do here for our warm-up is just it's a variation on a pentatonic. It's not a variation, it's a pentatonic scale. We're just omitting something in it just for the purposes of us learning and playing right now. So I'll teach you the full pentatonic scale, but then in our exercise we're not going to do the entire thing. So this is the full minor pentatonic scale. We're going to start on fret 8, which is a C. And it's important for us to learn the letters, but it's also important for us to learn scale degrees. So I'm going to go over all of these things right now. So this is fret 8 on your low E string, going to fret 11 on your low A string. Make sure that you are playing this with your pinky. You're going to want to go pointer, then pinky. If you can't make it right now, that's fine. I know that on classical instruments that you would, classical string instruments that play with a bow, you would anchor down your pointer finger and then stretch out the pinky for it. And I'm here to tell you that you can relieve the pressure on your pointer finger and kind of shift the weight over to your pinky if that's what you need to do to reach that. I know that, over time you're going to be able to stretch, as long as you're making an effort to really use your pinky and strengthen that pinky. That's what's important, okay? So we're going 8 to 11 here. This is C to E flat, a minor third interval. That's the beginning of our scale. Then we're going to go up a string to your A string, and this is your fret number 8 again, and then 10. Notice 10 is going to be with my ring finger, not my pinky. Then we're going to do that same exact thing on our D string. Okay, 8 to 10. So the entire thing looks like 8, 11. Now we're moving up a string. 8, 10. Moving up another string. 8, 10. Okay, so we have 8, 11, 8, 10, 8, 10. Easy to think about like that. If you want the letters for it, this is C, E flat, F, G, B flat, C. B flat, G, F, E flat, C. Now what's more important here than learning the letters really, the most important thing here in this is C. Because C is our root. If someone says, hey, C minor jam, you're like, C minor pentatonic scale, here we go. So if someone said, G minor jam, well, I know everything here in this C minor pentatonic. All I need to do is find myself a G and start it from there. So, if you only watched this video, you could think to yourself, hey, you know, C, E flat, F, G, hey, there's a G right here. I could just start that same pattern, but starting it here. Done. Okay? But if you know a little bit more about bass, you might not want to groove up here. I mean, it's cool. But you might want to take it down to fret 3. Okay? But anyway, pentatonic scale, back on C. So I got C, E flat, F, G, B flat, C. This is a C again. It's an octave. You can hear that these are of the same type of frequency, right? They're the same note, just higher and lower versions. Now, let's talk about the scale degrees here. So the scale degrees are going to go from 1, C we're going to call the root or 1. Now the E flat is a flat 3 or minor third. Then the F is a 4th, 5 is G, flat 7 is the B flat, and then back to C. So I have 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. In another video I can explain all that, why, but like the theory behind it. But really, if you want to get to playing, this is how you're going to get playing. Okay? So you should take this pattern, this exact same pattern, and practice playing it anywhere on your bass. Okay? You can go down in a linear pattern, you can go up, you can go sideways, diagonal, whatever you want to do. So here's an example of me taking it and going down. And to make this a little more interesting, I'm going to play 2 notes on each, 2 times on each note, so 8th notes. So I'm going to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, whatever you do, you really just want to make sure that you're doing it smoothly, whatever it is. So don't rush. You don't have to go the same speed as me. You can go slower, you can go faster, as long as it's smooth, because you don't want to train your body into doing the wrong thing. That is definitely the opposite of what practicing really is, right? We want to be training our fingers, our body, and our mind to do things correctly. Okay? So notice I had a conversation with you while I was doing that. You should be able to do the same thing. You should be able to move around and do that while answering simple math problems, maybe. Okay? So this is just from, I was just going down, I was just taking the pattern down a fret every time on the same string. But what you could do, maybe, is you could do variations on it. So let's say I wanted to start my pentatonic scale pattern on my 5. So remember how before we had 8 to 11? Well, now 5, what would 5 go to? 5 would then go to number 8, right? So you have that big gap right here between the pointer and the pinky. Then the smaller gap on the next string, 5 to 7, 5 to 7 on the next string, right? And I'll play 2 on each. Okay. So now let's say you don't want to do it in a line. You could do it in a linear fashion going up chromatically. So I'm on 5. I do the pattern on 5. Now I'm going to shift it up to 6. Kind of sounds like we're creeping along, right? Say this is boring for you. We go up a string, start it here. What the heck? I messed it up. You know, you can make a pattern. So let's say, we'll go down a fret towards the headstock, and then we'll go up one. So that would sound like. Okay, I know I just played a lot of stuff, but it's really just the same thing over and over again. It's just that same minor pentatonic scale that we learned at the beginning of this video, and we're just moving it around to different spots on our bass, and we're really getting acquainted with every single fret on our bass. So there's the beginning of a practice session for you. Good luck, have fun. More videos to come, alright?